If you've recently quit drinking alcohol and are feeling a little bit overwhelmed and alone, or if you're thinking about quitting drinking and you're just not really too sure where to start and are a little bit scared by the whole process, you're not alone, and I've got some words of wisdom for you. So, first of all, congratulations, your life is going to get significantly better from here on out if this is what you choose to do. So, well done for making that decision and recognizing that it's a problem in your life, if that is the case. So the first thing that I really want to talk about is being really honest with yourself, right? With a few different things. So when I quit drinking, it was, I think, the 4th time I quit, and the first 3 times over the course of a decade, I wasn't really ready to quit, right? And by that I mean I was kind of quitting with the idea that it was not permanent. And this is a funny thing, because when you try and quit and you accept that it's permanent, it's significantly more overwhelming and scary, because the idea of thinking, well, how the hell am I going to do that for the next 30, 40, 50, 60 years, whatever, you can't think about that, right? You cannot think about that. So I think what I would always do is say, I'm just going to quit for a month, or I'm going to quit for 6 months, and then I'll see how I feel. And you always feel better, and then you convince yourself you can start drinking again. And if you have an issue with addiction or a dependency with alcohol or any substance, that doesn't really work. So you've got to be really honest with yourself about if this is something that you actually want to do, right? And this isn't, I don't want to drink for the rest of my life. This needs to be, if I don't drink, my life is going to change. However, I think it's going to change for the better, and that is what I want. So you need to accept that things are going to change, things are going to be very different, but you've got to be really honest about that, and you've got to make that decision. So you have to make that decision first of all, that you don't want to live like this anymore, and you want to make a change, regardless of how difficult it's going to be. So that's the sort of first thing that you want to do, and then also think about what does your future life look like. So what is it that you actually want to do? Why are you so miserable now? And what does your life look like when you stop drinking? Because if it looks basically exactly the same but without alcohol, that's probably not going to happen, and it's probably not that realistic, and you're probably only thinking that because you're scared of the alternative. So what will probably happen is you will lose a lot of friends, your lifestyle will completely change, you'll stop going to the pub, you'll stop going to friends' houses who drink. All of that you'll lose that. If you've got it in your head that, well, you still want to do all those things, you just don't want to drink alcohol, be really honest with yourself, that's probably not going to happen. And if you do have an addiction problem, it's just not going to work. So think about what you actually want your life to look like. So for me at the time, I was holding down a full-time job, but I was not getting enough sleep, waking up late, feeling like crap all day, every day, going to work, and then on the weekends I would absolutely amp the drinking up. So in the week it was like a bottle of wine, a few cans of beer, whatever. On the weekend it was a whole bottle of whiskey, beer, wine, like just whatever. And I would just all of my entire sort of concept of time and everything just went out the window, and it was just like a 2-3 day binge. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, I would like to get up early every day, on a Saturday, on a Sunday, waking up at 7 o'clock. Just little things like that. I thought that would be really, and then having the entire day, like what I would, when I was drinking, what I would achieve in a day, I could have achieved in, the first half of the morning, living a sober life, right? So, just really think about those things. What what life do you want and what does it actually look like? And it should be very different. You should be not clinging on to things that you currently live with that you're too scared to get rid of. It needs to be blank canvas. If I could just move somewhere new, didn't know anybody, what kind of life would you build? And that's what you need to get excited about. And when you stop, it's quite difficult at the start for a few months, and it's probably different for everyone. But once you start living that life that you are choosing to live, and you see a real, you see it as positive, and you're not feeling depressed and like completely out of whack. Then you have this comparison then, and you look back and you go, I have now experienced 2 different ways of living my life, one with alcohol, one without alcohol, and I don't know anyone who's gone, actually I prefer the other one. It just doesn't happen. So really think about that, and think about what that life that you want. And then also, so what feelings are in the way of you stopping, or what feelings are you experiencing right now that's making it really hard? So for me, I felt really alone with it, really overwhelmed, and I never wanted to. I never told anyone, so it was really, really difficult. I never told my sort of friends, family. Like, they all knew I drank a lot, but I didn't think they knew how much I was drinking in the week, excessively, on my own. So, really. Just sort of really think about that. Like, what are you feeling, and what are you scared of? Because if you weren't scared of anything, you would just do it, and you probably wouldn't be watching this video, and you wouldn't be confused and overwhelmed by the whole process. So there's definitely things that you're scared of. So be really honest about that. Are you scared of losing friends? If you live your life around drinking, you're probably going to lose most of those friends. And that's okay. Honestly, it's okay. Are you scared of being judged? That's a real thing. I found it really difficult at first telling people that I don't drink, because I just didn't want to have the conversation, because everyone kind of goes, oh well, why not? I think, well, why do you drink? Isn't that an equally valid question? But no one asks that, especially in the UK, where it's such a common behaviour. So I just didn't want to have the conversation. And actually, when I started dating again, once I got sober and felt pretty in control, I had some people just completely turn me down because they found out that I didn't drink, and they were like, oh well, you're boring then, and I don't care now, but at the time it did bother me, and I spent 15 years drinking alcohol as much as I could, worried that people wouldn't like me if I didn't drink. So as soon as I stop drinking, and then that gets reinforced, it's not very nice. So the point I'm getting at is, all of these things that you're probably scared of are real and they're valid, right? So just acknowledge them, and just get them all together and say, hey, look, you're all the things I'm really, really scared of, and we're all gonna sit here together, and we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be all right. Because if you don't accept the things that you're scared of, you're just gonna talk yourself out of quitting for the rest of your life. So another thing that I was worried about as well, just to give more examples, I quit in the summer 4 years ago. And I was scared about what it's going to be like at Christmas with my family. Like, what a weird thing. I've had Christmas every year, obviously, and I would get drunk, and everyone would have a laugh, and it would just be great. And then all of a sudden, I'm quitting alcohol, and I'm worrying about an event in 6 months' time, going, well, what's it going to be like? It's going to be different. So it's very normal to be scared of these things. But that being said, acknowledge them, but do not let them drive your decision, right? Because if it is something that's going to change in your life, right? If you quit today and you don't drink alcohol tomorrow, those things you're scared of are probably not going to crop up, right, within that day. They're probably not going to crop up within the next week, right? So just, this is why in AA, they say to just take it one day at a time, because thinking, I'm going to quit, or worrying about these things in a year, or what your life's going to be like in the future, is so overwhelming. Just don't do it. Just focus on, I'm going to get through this week at work. I'm not going to drink. I'm going to get to the weekend and see how I feel, and just take these like little chunks. Anyway, right, I'm going off on a tangent a bit. So the next thing is actually making the right changes in your life. So as I alluded to earlier, you're not going to succeed at this if you continue to go to the pub, you continue to keep the same friends, especially if your friends don't support you. It's just not going to happen. If they start sort of mocking you, or just sort of taking the mick out of you and kind of saying, making jokes about it, you just get out of there, right? And it'll be all right, because the friends that you'll realize who your real friends are. Trust me, and they'll be the ones that stick around. They'll be the ones who are happy for you, who really support you. So just use it as a bit of a litmus test, and just see who your real friends are. So yeah, you need to make those changes, and so you can't, what's the saying? There's a really good saying, isn't it? You can't do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. I don't know who said that, but I think it's a pretty famous quote. And it really applies to this. You can't just keep living your life the same way and just, because nothing, hang on, does it apply? I don't know. Hopefully you get where you see where I'm going with this. But things won't change if you keep living life the same way. So do something drastic. Something that you're okay doing, a little bit uncomfortable with, join a gym, go out for a run, like try and make new friends. This is the thing, and just try and give yourself something else that you really enjoy in life. If there's hobbies that you enjoy, but you've just sort of abandoned them. For me, piano was one of them. I just stopped playing. I stopped playing for years, and it was something that I picked up again when I stopped drinking. And you find joy in these things again. And I also got a dog as well, and that was, for me, that gave me the reason to wake up early every single morning. It gave me a purpose. It gave me responsibility beyond myself. I had to go out for a walk twice a day, at least. So all of those things, just find things that you want to do, or have always wanted to do, but just never got round to it, shall we say, or tried, or was too scared of doing. So think about those things as well. And then the last thing is find connection. So find those people in your life that will support you. So for me, the first people I told were my parents, and they knew I liked to drink. They didn't know how bad it was. No one did really. But you need to get the people that care about you on your side, and part of this is obviously for support, so they can help you, but it's also accountability. So it really helps you sort of stay focused and become the new version of yourself, right? Because you're going to change your identity. So you get accountability. So it's really good. And if you can find people who have been through this before that you can talk to. That was the biggest thing for me, actually getting started. So I spent a lot of time suffering in silence, as they say. And there was a guy that I worked with who had been to AA, and I think he was sober for like 4 or 5 years at the time. And I reached out to him and kind of had a bit of a mini breakdown. And I just said, look, I really don't know what to do anymore. Because I was too scared to go to like a group or anything like that, and talk to a stranger. And I was really lucky that I had this guy who I kind of got on with, and he was open about his history, so I could get advice from him. And that absolutely changed the game for me. And it was the first time I ever had anyone talk to me and explained things to me that I had felt and experienced my entire life that no one else understood. So it was like for the first time I was actually understood by someone else and properly validated, like, you know, these are real problems, real things that I experience, and other people have gone through it. So, you know, if you can find someone like that, and if there is no one, right, just comment on this video, send me a message. You know, I'm not like some weird, you know, unattainable celebrity or something. I'm literally a guy on the internet with 17 subscribers who is putting this video out there purely to help people. So comment on this video, you know, I'll give you my email or something, and we can chat. It's like it's so important to have that support there and the validation from other people. So yeah, and then I think one last thing I want to say as well, because this was there's a John Mayer, right? He's a singer, guitarist, musician, and he done an interview, and I saw it probably about 6 months ago, and it really stuck in my head because I thought it was really good. And so he basically said, when you drink, you have a lot of highs and lows. So you generally, your baseline is depressed, and you drink and you get these highs and you come down again. So it's very sort of up and down. So when you stop, you stop getting these highs, and you kind of default to this real, you know, depressed lull, I suppose. And this is where it's really hard at first, because you don't know who you are, you don't know what you're doing, you know, you don't know who your friends are, you don't know what you enjoy anymore. It's all a bit strange. But then over time, the entire baseline comes up, and that, just as a description of it, was perfect for me. And it really is true. It really is true. You just learn to enjoy everything in life. So yeah, please reach out if you want to talk. Yeah, and you know, I really hope everything works out. I really do. I know how you feel, and you'll make it. You will make it. All right. Thank you for watching anyway, and let me know if you want to hear anything else relating to this. I'll be more than happy to talk about it and make another video. So thanks for watching.